Hello and welcome to the Sweaty Farmer and the Game Design. Here in the confines of the void, we hunt for the most rare space cloudberry that promises eternal runs till the universe ends. This is episode number 29, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I am the long name gamer, the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode. This week we published the endgame of our endgames.
But before we take the rug and give him a nice polish, we take a look at this week's news. On the news, we have Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord as told by Steam reviewers. Minecraft Dungeon is like a family-friendly Diablo apparently. And conventions can still be held, they're just happening online. So, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Have you seen the game?
Nope. So you know it.
You know what it is?
Nope.
All right, let me tell you. When I was at school in the game design school, I had a friend which was obsessed with this game, right? So basically, what it is, in simple terms, is like a medieval kingdom simulator, kind of, right? When you are a knight.
RTS or time-based or...
It's not RTS, no. It's a third person. It's in third person, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are kind of a knight and you build your kingdom and you build like castle and then you manage your armies and then you go to war with the armies and then you manage your armies. Like you give them like instructions, but you fight yourself inside a horse, so you're a commander and a fighter at the same time.
Got it.
And the whole joy of the game is like being you yourself, like a commander fighter, and then at the same time command strategies with like with the squadrons of medieval units in warbands, and then you have the other side of the kingdom, and then managing the kingdom, and then expanding it, and then conquering another kingdoms, and that's it. Yeah.
It sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing about Mountain Blade. The thing about Mountain Blade is like it's been forever an independent funded game. Yeah. So they I think it came out like in 2000 and that was a long time ago. I think it came out around 2012, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like people like it a lot because of that very gritty fantasy of medieval functioning, and people are obsessed with medieval stuff. So, and then they kickstarted. I think it was the Kickstarter or the funding. They found somehow the second part, right? The sequel where they're gonna do better and blah blah blah. But they've been doing it for like, I think by now like 4 or 5 years, and then it finally came out. And like I seen a lot of good reviews, even from my friend which was obsessed, was like, oh yeah, it is more Mountain Blade. With like a little bit better graphics, and I've seen some streamers around like streaming it and that sort of stuff, and they have like this prisoner system where you take prisoners and you execute them and you convert them to your kingdom or whatever, and then you conquer other kingdoms, etc., etc. So what was that? So that was the thing. Let's mute this. Mute side. So and that's it. So the apparently the Steam reviews are very like mixed on it. A lot of people saying that it's great as a game, and other people say that it's more of the same, so they don't like it. But what do you think about it? About that fantasy medieval thing? And this being like a very, very specific niche?
I don't know. It's weird. It's something that I can see myself getting into when I was in high school or something.
Yeah.
I don't think now I'll be that interested in.
Like the whole medieval fantasy of fighting for a horse and like being a king or a lord or whatever thing is the fantasy is.
Depends. It could be interesting. Well, I'll probably be more interesting in the management side of the game than
In
the
the kingdom
actual
management
combat.
and the prisoners and all that.
Yeah,
Have you ever
more than the
played?
combat itself.
Have you ever played any Total War?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the the uh, the squads managing, like the squads in the fighting, looks a little bit like that, but the difference is like you're on back horse in third person, on horseback, sorry,
Yeah.
in third person. Yeah.
Sure, but it seems like the meaningful gimmick of the game is the mix of both.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Then you go
But
and kill people in third person, and you feel like a knight,
yeah,
a
but I
sword.
don't really care about that side that
About the
much.
actual combat,
Yeah, so sure, if I only care about the management, probably Total War is a better game. It's
yes.
for me.
Which Total War
Yeah,
have you played? I think I played like the Japanese one the most.
I played a bunch of them, mm, not competitively any of them or on a serious manner, but
All right.
I played
Did
a
you play
bunch of
the
them.
Warhammer one?
No, but I'm not a big fan of the Warhammer universe.
Like the old one? No, not the 40k,
No,
the normal
the
Warhammer.
standard
Yeah,
Warhammer universe.
standard
I
Warhammer.
just, I never like it. I don't know. It's
I wanted a Total War, but with 40k, man.
that will be interesting.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that it will be interesting as much as it replicates the tabletop game as close as possible.
Well, the thing is, like, there was this conversation that I had about like a long time ago about how to what would be to replicate the actual 40k uh in a video game, like a faithful adaptation, and I felt it like it's kind of hard-ish because in the tabletop the 40k thing is kind of a squad base, and then you have some
Yes, it
heroes,
is.
right?
Not really.
Well, kind of depends, half and half of the race, right?
Not really. You have a little bit stronger units.
You have some independent units, but you do have squads.
You do have squads,
There you go.
but you don't have heroes really.
No, you have like some special units.
Yeah, you have like a squad with a captain,
Yeah, with
which
a
is
special
a little
unit.
bit better
Yeah, so it's like
and has a couple of skills maybe.
yeah, so it mainly made to be a squad. So and then they tried to adapt it in that like super faithful way in Warhammer Dawn of War 2, and it didn't quite work because you were managing only one or two squads, and the squads were super small.
Also because the RTS setting is not, I don't think is the adequate setting to bring the tabletop rules.
Then
Like you can have good
yeah,
games based on the universe. I don't
yes, yes, yes,
think
yes.
RTS is the right setting for a faithful recreation of the tabletop. Any recreation of the tabletop, I think, will have to be turn-based.
Like what? Like XCOM?
Maybe XCOM could be. Could be. It's
How
hard
will
to tell without a good implementation.
how will
It's
you put
again.
it?
What do you mean?
Like in what kind of genre will you put it to be like super faithful?
Turn-based strategy.
Like turn-based strategy, like what? But
Yeah,
what?
that's
Give me
that.
give me an example, like XCOM or like what is the other one? Civilization kind type of thing.
Oh, Civilization. It's not a turn-based. I mean, it is a turn-based game, but it's not like the focus of Civilization is not the fighting, is the management.
That is correct. Yes.
So that setting doesn't work because Warhammer, as a tabletop game, is not about management; it's about fighting.
All right. So my question will be more than if there is a game now that could be put a skin of Warhammer and it will work in terms of gameplay.
Um, I don't know.
You don't know.
Maybe
All
there
right.
is, but I'm not that familiar with the whole time-based time-based strategy games now.
Yeah.
So there could be something out there.
All right.
You know what kind of thing would be interesting? Probably broken and it wouldn't work as well, but like
yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Have you ever played Final Fantasy Tactics?
No. I play other Final Fantasy Tactics, but I play like a hybrid kind of.
What do you mean? Have you played Final Fantasy Tactics?
No.
Okay,
but
then
I play
it's
a
hard for me
hybrid.
to tell. Final Fantasy Tactics is a game.
Yes, I know.
I don't know what you mean by a hybrid.
I play a turn-based melee kind of style game, Final Fantasy, which is the Dissidian.
I know that gameplay is really far away from Final Fantasy Tactics.
All right, fair enough.
Final Fantasy Tactics is in my opinion, it's probably the purest form of just a straight up turn-based fighting game. You just deploy a bunch of units
Yeah.
at the beginning of your turn.
Yeah.
You choose the positions to deploy them. You have to take into account the terrain, and you have a mix of casters and healers and tanks and
fair enough. Yeah.
melee DPS, and it is turn-based fighting. And
I have the sensation that I play something like that. Well, I play these Gaia games, which are kind of turn-based fighting like that.
What? Maybe, I don't know. It just comes to mind. It will be interesting to see. I will be interested. That's probably quite a niche request to see a Final Fantasy Tactics like game in the Warhammer 40k setting.
Fair enough. I think for me, like the best adaptation so far of the 40k franchise that I've played, and I play like a bunch. I played the Dawn of War 2. I played the one which was a first person. It was like Space Marine, I think was the name of the game.
Yep.
It was third person kind of thing.
An amazing game.
Yeah, Space Marine. But for me, at least, my favorite adaptation has been and always be the first Dawn of War.
It is not an adaptation.
It is not an adaptation?
Nope. That's the point. It is not an adaptation of the tabletop game at all.
Well, at least, then let me rephrase that. Then it would be like the best game based on the universe and the lore of the 40k.
That's different.
Yeah.
That is different, but it's not. It's by no stretch of the war adaptation.
Because it's like real-time strategy, so it's like a different beast in those terms. Like
it has faithful recreations of like the guns and the models and the stuff.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But the way that the tabletop game is played is not recreated at all.
Yeah, that is
like it has some things like the terrain effect and that you can
gain cover from certain terrains. You can take advantage from others. But
it is not really a recreation.
It is such a good game. So it's my favorite game in the 40k.
I disagree. Space Marine is my favorite game.
All right, fair enough. There you go.
Like the gameplay of Space Marine is so good, and it feels so nice too.
It's really good, but I really do like more the RTAs kind of thing, especially in the representation of all the actually showcases all the races except for the Tyranids in that first game.
But nothing feels better like killing the enemies with your own hands, and those finishers in a Space Marine are amazing.
Yeah, that is.
The jetpack is super fun.
Yes. Anyway, everything.
I don't know. It's but I sure. The game that you mentioned, I forgot the name.
Dawn of War.
Dawn of War. It's a really good game, but it's not a recreation of the tabletop game.
Yeah.
It's definitely not at all. I would like to see a recreation in a turn-based game. I will be super interested in that.
Like a really faithful one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you have the points to create the armies.
Yeah, the armies and that sort of stuff.
You have the stratagems and
like
things.
An absolute one-on-one kind of recreation.
That would be
close
interesting.
to like with animations and that sort of stuff, but like as closer as you can get it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't care about the animations that much.
it's just to give him flair, right?
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's hard. It's hard to bring tabletop games to.
To like actual good life or something, or like put it in. It's
Yep.
because like part of the enjoyment of those tabletop games is the actual tabletop deal of the thing.
More than the tabletop is because big part of the hobby of playing tabletop uh, games is actually creating and collecting the armies
Yeah, that too.
and painting and the whole hobby around the game. It's a big part of that.
Yeah, which is
Like you
ridiculously.
won't find someone who plays any of these games just by. It's rare. Like probably you'll find it, but it's rare to find someone who just straight up buys uh, completed armies
Yeah,
and just plays. That's not common at all. I've never met anyone like that. Like most people are into the putting them together and
and
painting
like painting
them
him.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
personalize them. That's a big part of the hobby.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there was a competitor trying to like kind of do that mainstream thing when they sell you like they reduce, was it, they reduce the size of the army and then they sell you like completed units and that sort of stuff. There was like a competitor that took a lot of traction by just like simplifying the game so you can like just go ahead and play it without the whole like painting the army and thing process. But it's part of the experience, I will say.
No, like collecting and painting and like the whole modeling part of the game is a big part of the
Yeah,
hobby. And
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll say
if
that.
you take that away, you're losing the whole connection that you get with your army.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's
All
that
right.
simple.
Our
Like,
next point on the news is Minecraft Dungeon is like family friendly Diablo.
sure,
Sure.
for how much I care about uh, Minecraft.
So you think being in the future you're gonna be Minecraft of everything?
People can do whatever they want with Minecraft.
So isometric Minecraft Diablo style game with like that kind of like blocky fantasy. You know the most ridiculous thing is like, oh yeah, now you have like ray tracing in Minecraft. I'm like,
Okay,
why?
you can go and ray trace your cubes.
Yeah,
Just
exactly
like,
my point. You ray trace a cube. It's such a waste of technology and pushing it. But like I think Microsoft fell
but
in
no,
love with this.
maybe it's not because you can probably learn a lot about the technical stuff of how ray tracing actually works. It's not a waste of technology. Just I don't care about Minecraft.
Yeah, all
I,
right.
I don't dismiss the usefulness of doing it, not for the gameplay itself, but like for the tool development side of things. Probably more useful than
Than anything else.
yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think of the dungeon crawler coming to a more
Sure,
family friendly environment with Minecraft?
sure.
Sure, a lot of people, a lot of purists, you know, this happens in every franchise. It's like, oh no, they're gonna be terrible and like it's not Diablo, don't call it Diablo, and it's like for little kids and that sort of stuff. And like I find this looks good. Like this actually looks very decent. And like if you get like kids gamer love for the dungeon crawler kind of like genre, is better for all the genre, right? I think that that would be my point to those people who says like, oh no, they're gonna ruin the dungeon crawler Diablo kind of, and it's because the dungeon crawler is starting this like very dark and edgy place with Diablo 1, right? Which was the pioneer of dungeon crawlers.
Yeah. The only thing, my only complaint is that I would like to see more indie developers doing uh, dungeon dungeon crawlers with the like 8-bit aesthetic.
All right. Isn't there one with 8-bit aesthetic?
Yeah, there are a couple of them, but they're not. I cannot recall any big profile right now,
Fair enough.
which is a shame.
Yeah, because the only heavy hitters that we have so far in the genre are like Diablo and Path of Exile. And none of the attempts has been able to like kind of dethrone those two. Wolsen did a good attempt, but they're a small team and their launch wasn't the best. The game has promise though. I'll tell you that because I experienced it. What else is there? What is the other one? Epoch, the last something, and the other one. Man, I don't remember the other one. Grim Darkness. Grim Dawn? Grim Dawn is the other one. So yeah. So you want like more people doing like weird dungeon crawlers?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of I feel like indie games are a good experimental space to try out mechanics and things.
Yes.
And that's not gonna be attempted by the big names, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But yeah, we will. I would like to more like.
So I don't care about Minecraft. I would prefer to see more indie people doing dungeon crawlers.
In like with weird aesthetics, right?
Yeah, like the 8-bit aesthetic, it's fine. That kind of thing, I don't care. Like more things like Bastion kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, man, that game is very beautiful. Yes.
But those are the kind of things that I'll like to see in the genre. Minecraft, I really don't get it. Not my thing. Couldn't care less.
There's like people who grew up with Minecraft and now they get and then you crawling with Minecraft. So there you go.
Yeah, sure.
But I think like
Again, not my thing.
Yeah, I think overall like this makes the genre more kind of widespread because the Minecraft people who plays the game is a lot, so it will make like it put a little more in the collective consciousness of the people.
Is it really a popular game?
Yeah, it's a big game. Minecraft is a big game.
Know.
It's used in schools and like people of all ages plays it. It's like a very popular kind of like game.
I'll take your word.
Yes, it is.
Just don't care.
Like to sell like educational versions and that sort of stuff in mass. So yeah.
If you say so.
Yes. It's been called the Lego of our era, but anyways. And for the last news of today, because of the current crazy situation, there's still conventions going around, but they just all be moved online. Right? And if I was a betting man, I would probably predict that the BlizzCon this year is gonna be full stream online.
Maybe. Have they said something? I don't think so.
They haven't said anything yet, but I'll predict that will be that's what's gonna happen. Like a lot of cons and presentation and the Sony launch of the console, they all moved to like stream online presentation and that sort of stuff.
That's fine. It's just that they're gonna lose a lot of money.
For sure, they're gonna lose a lot of money, especially in the Blizzard case, because they do sell like those tickets, etc. And they already
not only that, but they probably already have the venue booked and everything arranged. Yeah. It's a huge event, so it's not something that you plan out a couple of months in advance. Something that you start planning out as soon as the previous one ends.
Yeah, and I would say like probably at middle of the year they're gonna probably say that it's probably not gonna happen. Like
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
we're not gonna have massive events till like next year.
Yeah, that's fair to assume.
Yeah. So they're probably gonna bump the price of the virtual ticket, which is a virtual option that they sell, and move all the show through that platform.
I don't think it's a good idea to increase the virtual ticket price.
But I think they will do it because
I don't
of all the
think so.
money. You
It's
don't think
not good
so?
PR. It's better to take the hit.
And just like sell
Yep.
more and risk it and just try to sell more
No, it's
virtual
not about
tickets.
risk. Just take the loss of all the things that they already put.
Fair
Just
enough.
take the loss. That's gonna be better than the PR nightmare that is gonna be if the virtual ticket is $80.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I will say
Which to be fair, like the BlizzCon virtual ticket is already expensive.
it's already super expensive, yeah.
And if they increase the price, the backlash that they're gonna get is gonna be insane. That's not a PR nightmare that they wanna deal with.
Well, with all the Blizzard PR bad nightmares that they've been experiencing, I don't know. I won't be surprised. I hope they don't do it, but I don't think they do. They care about those PR nightmares once
They
and
do
once again.
care.
Hopefully, they do care. Yeah,
Any company cares.
any company.
I mean, all companies care. That's the point.
And I think GDC did some online presentations to account for the cancel of the convention. So yeah, so technically we still have some convention. They just all been streaming their panels and that sort of stuff, and that's how it's gonna be till next year probably.
Yeah, we're not gonna have any big events this year.
Yeah, so don't fret about it. Your probably your favorite convention is moving online, and that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the situation.
Yep.
So yeah, you have to recoup. Like E3 disappeared this year, and now it's fine because all the major announcements in uh that time are gonna be online, etc., etc.
I still think E3 was just a relic of the past.
I think well, yeah, I think it was, but I don't know. It has like I don't know. I'm gonna miss it. I never went, but I did enjoy like the hype and the.
Let it go. No one really cared about E3.
I have fun memories about watching that show every year.
No one really cared about E3.
Oh, come on, Lucho.
But no one did. That's why it's that. If people care, it wouldn't be that. It's that simple.
Well, yeah. If people care, it wouldn't be dead. I will still miss it.
People didn't care, so
I will still miss it. It doesn't matter.
Of course, it doesn't matter because no one cares.
Come on, Lucho.
That's the whole point. Yeah, like when they announced that it was gonna die, that it was gonna die, I didn't hear like any big outcries, like "Oh no."
Yeah, nobody bat an eye. Everybody was like,
"Yeah."
So me, like, I don't care that much. I'm saying that I'm gonna miss those like memories that I did because of the show and the thing around in one place. Like the happening of the year. It's the same. It was the same as BlizzCon. It's kind of like that feeling like, oh, this big convention that I care about because I love games and I'm game design, etc., etc. Even though like I pay more attention to GDC.
More events throughout the year because you have to pay attention to all the smaller conventions.
That's the bad things. Like if you have,
that's a good thing.
It's better to have like just everything in one place, like big event convention. And
I disagree.
And then what?
I disagree.
All right,
that's not better.
I don't know. I like it more like that, like all the big names just coming together and do all their announcements in this 1 week, and then
Why would you like that instead of like having a weekend for a game?
because they were just like all the big names announcing it, kind of like look like cool rivalry and what one has to offer to the other, and like, and you got the big announcements in that window of
Okay,
games to
boomer.
come. What?
Okay, boomer.
Oh my god, fuck off.
No one cares about those things.
All right. Just do disclaimer, and I'm gonna turn on the light because I'm a boomer and I need lights.
But no one cares about
I
the
don't
things
care.
that you're describing.
Did you do the disclaimer?
No. What is the disclaimer?
Well, yeah, we're done with the news.
Oh, we're done with the news.
Yes.
Okay, boomer. Dude. Get on with the times.
All right, okay. All right, I will do disclaimer then. This discussion here,
disclaimer.
now we move to our deep dive. The discussion here is based on our opinions and our in-game experiences. Anything that we say could be disapproved by Lucho.
Complete disapproval, boomer.
And we can be wrong sometimes. We try to check every fact that we say here with the articles and everything, but sometimes is like our opinions are colored by or the things that we do in the games that we talk about.
Not sometimes, all the time.
All the
because
time,
they're
yeah.
opinions and they're subjective.
Yes, correct. So, what do we have in the deep dive? Underwhelming rework on the Warframe sphere about the status changes that were done. AoE target capping in World of Warcraft for Shadowlands expansion. And finally, is banning players for exploits a good punishing method related to the recently banned wave of the Division 2 because of a DPS exploit.
And a loot exploit.
Yeah. So, underwhelming rework. Tell me about it, Lucho. What happened with the status that people didn't like the status changes?
It's just there is basically I mean, there is one big problem with the new rework, and
Yeah.
is that it's been out for I think a month now, or at
Yeah,
least
give
a
or
couple
take.
of weeks for sure.
Yeah.
And basically now the game falls into the problem that if you want generalist build for anything,
Yeah.
just put on viral
Yeah. All right.
viral and slash. That's it. That's all that matters.
Byron and Slash. All right.
They are viral is by far the best elemental combination, just because it it debuffs the health of the enemies no matter what.
Of course. Yeah.
But now it's like that's the only thing.
Then it worked it, yeah, because they debuff the toxic when they lower the armor.
Not problem is that with toxic, if you completely armor strip,
Yeah.
you're losing some damage.
Yes.
So it is not worth going completely into armor stripping avenue.
And then the effects of magnetic and cold are not that useful.
Yeah, people have been complaining that some of the status that have effects like the cold procs. They will freeze an enemy
Yeah.
after a certain amount of procs,
Yeah.
but it takes too long to
Yeah, it takes
actually
forever.
freeze an enemy.
Correct. Yeah. You're better off like freezing
And
them with the Warframe than with an actual weapon.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Like Warframe power should be
The more effective
the
tool.
most efficient
Yeah.
way of doing those things.
Yeah.
But like at least if you have like one super status heavy weapon, you should and you like mod it heavily into status chance and status application, it should be feasible. But even right now doing that is it like a lot of the effects don't seem to have a lot of effect in the game.
Yeah. And like last time that we were playing, we were only like we were trying only to see like crit builds that, and they were starting to get like a lot of popular crit builds that is a testament that status became like too weak for general use.
No, but you have to be careful with something. We're looking at that because to damage that specific enemy,
Yeah.
like that specific enemy, you cannot apply a status effect. That's all.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So
But
that's
anyway,
why
like this makes me think that then a crit will be more useful for general use than status.
it depends on.
On what are you doing?
That's not true all the time. That is
Alright.
true for the enemy that we're fighting because you couldn't apply a status effect.
Yes. I know.
But that's not completely true in general. Like heat is a really effective status effect right now if you can apply enough to armor strip.
All right. So what is the main problem of this? Is like the status should be like maybe you will need like less procs to actually apply the status because they're so weak, or maybe will you buff again back the status proc effects?
I don't.
Or maybe you will buff the length that the status is applied, like a dotting kind of effect.
No, I think the easiest change would be to review how fast do the status proc actually procs the effect that it has.
How fast? So
like how many status procs do you need to actually trigger the
effect?
Yeah.
So just like buff how fast the effect of the actual status applies.
Yeah,
because
changing the status chance for the weapons is going through all the weapons. That's not feasible. Like that's not a quick change.
All right, yeah.
And doing that, like we had a with the whole recent damage changes.
Yeah.
Going now and throwing that kind of change for all the weapons is throwing a wrench in the pool again.
Yes. I understand. Yeah.
So I wouldn't, if it was my decision, I wouldn't change the weapons now. I would change the numbers in how fast the
actual effect applies.
Yep.
I do agree with that. I would like and it will be very interesting that like the thing is like what stats does that effect. Oh wait. That effect is controlled by the status change, right? How fast does the status, like the effect procs, is controlled by status change, right?
Status chance, yeah.
Status chance, there you go. So that is controlled by status chance. It will be hard in terms of like making it so, because what you are trying to buff here is the strength of a status chance, right? If you want to need to to need less procs to apply an effect, then you will need to
Could be.
change the status chance.
It's no, because the status chance is like you hit the enemy with a bullet,
Yeah.
and that bullet rolls a dice, and it
Yes.
has a status chance to apply the status.
So what do you mean? Like I throw a bullet and that bullet rolls a die from, for example, if my status chance is 25%,
Yeah, 1 in every 4 bullets
will apply.
in average will apply an effect.
So if I have 100% status, then every bullet that I should apply this status.
It will apply an status, but remember that if a weapon has multiple,
Status, it will apply one of those,
yeah, including IPS.
including IPS. Okay.
So, like, every bullet will apply an effect. It could be a slash effect,
Yeah.
like a slash dot if you want. It could be an impact dot or one of the elements that the weapon has as dot.
As a dot effect. All right.
Yep.
So then what? Then you will like to buff the status chance, right?
No, because the status chance buff is buffing that. But like, for example, you need a certain amount of hit dots to strip armor or to strip certain amount of armor. Or you need certain amount of dots of cold dots to freeze an enemy.
Yeah, so you want to affect
those,
the quantity of dots needed to proc the next effect, like the next, the big effect, for calling it somewhere.
Yeah, which is the whole idea of, it's part of the whole idea why now a status effect can go over 100.
Because you are not guaranteed to apply it. You're just stacking dots faster. Right?
Yeah. That's what the above 100% status chance means.
But if you lower the amount of dots that you need, won't like more than 100% status chance be super effective in like keeping a room freeze, or like
it could be, but there are not that many weapons that can achieve that easily.
So there are not that many weapons that can achieve 100% status effect.
No, there are like maybe like 3 or 4 secondaries and a couple of primaries that have really good status chance.
Yeah.
But the damage is really poor.
So because the danger of this is like if you can make like a God CC weapon.
I mean, and you could, as long as it is one weapon. That's fine. Like you can have one really good CC weapon.
For example,
a couple of them.
One of my favorite weapon, the God Hand, right? It has naturally like 30% status chance.
Oh, you cannot. Can't you take that one of 100% status?
No, I think the close. If I build it, I think the close is like 80%, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that will be that will apply like blast all the time.
Sure.
Is that good? Bad? What is the higher effect of blast? Do you remember?
I don't remember what the stacking blast actually does.
Is it like a knockup? I think it's like a knockdown, something like that.
Yeah, but that's the regular apply. And that one is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like knocking down enemies is annoying in the game if you're shooting them.
Yes. So what are the dangers if you like lower than the amount of procs that you need to? Like right now, if you will do it right now, like you go and then lower the amount of dots.
The biggest danger is to make some of the melee weapons too strong.
Yeah, because you can have like a constantly freezing weapon.
I don't think you can. Maybe you could, but I'm not aware of all the. Maybe you could, but it'll probably be a melee weapon.
So probably, and you prefer that to what it is now, which is like underwhelming status effects.
It's just that it feels useless. Like like I know the whole stacking dots thing,
Yeah,
and that it should have an effect, but with most of the weapons that I use, doesn't feel like
it has an
anything different is
effect.
happening.
It's just like hitting. Yeah, because like the idea of status, like the idea if you're gonna use status, you want to see that big blood or that big effect happening, right?
You,
It's
you,
like,
you want to
oh,
see something happening.
you want to see
That's the
something.
point.
Yeah, it's like if you're playing I don't know, do you an example. If you want to play like an electric weapon, you want to see like you're hitting enemies and then it electrifies everything or like it stuns them for a second. You want to see those effects, right? That's the satisfying part of a
Yeah,
status.
but the whole point is that if you go hard, like into a status build,
Yeah,
like hardcore, like you just put all your eggs into a status build,
yeah.
it will pay off. But now that payoff, like if it happens in the numbers, is not visual, and that's the kind of dissatisfying part.
So that is not a visual like it's because of the big effect. It's not broken. All right,
Yeah,
is not broken. Uh, like constantly enough, you don't see that visual like feedback of your status actually working. Besides the number
yeah,
just jumping in the screen.
yeah.
So that is the problem with the status rework. So yeah, so that would be like your solution to like less, and that would be interesting like for starting players because when you are given an status weapon with some kind of like very low damage but very high kind of like elemental damage, you in general tend not to use it at least at the beginning of the game, like at least at the start of the game because it doesn't do that much damage and the effect takes forever to trigger when you're given like a first taste of those like status weapon, right? So what it will do is like if you reduce the dot amount, you will start to see that you can trigger that cold weapon effect, right?
Yep.
And that would be good for like new players too when you don't need like and they will get people turning the dreams because imagine if they give you like I don't know, they give you a hit sword, which is the most common drop in Warframe for forever. They give you a hit sword and then you go and test and you oh yeah I'm slashing people and then suddenly you see one of the dudes just catch on fire.
Yep.
That would be super like super um
I mean, you see them now catching on
yeah, of
fire
course.
and getting a
But it
stun.
takes like
Just
500 hits to do it, even when you like have a lot of stats.
yes, that's the problem. If that
Yes.
you are using a status heavy weapon and you mod it
Yeah.
heavily into status, it should happen more often.
Yes, correct. So
Or
that's
it'll
the
feel more rewarding going through all the trouble of
of actually
modding
modded
the
for them.
weapon.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, the fantasy at the end of the day will be like, I have this modded flame sword, and every two hits, the guy is catching on fire because I have like 80% status, something like that. That's
Yep.
what should happen, right? Would you like to like pump up the visual feedback of some of the effects?
No,
No, too much
no.
visual
Warframe is
noise.
already a quite visual. It's a visually noisy
Yeah,
game. Noise,
information noisy.
visually noisy game
Yeah,
already.
it was just a question to help with the actual feedback of the status.
Nope.
No?
Not for Warframe. Warframe has a lot of shit going on, and actually, you don't see a lot of the stuff that is happening. To be fair, like
Yes.
when in a normal gameplay session, you're
Things
really
just
not
die.
paying that much attention to.
And then what about the mixed status kind of effects like radiation and magnetic and viral? What is the other one? I feel
Toxin,
like I'm missing one.
viral,
What?
toxin, viral, no
Toxin, viral,
toxin, no corrosive,
corrosive. Yes, thank you.
blast.
Yes.
What about them? That's fine.
Will you like that to be more flary? Like if you're like, how do you know? Because sometimes you lose like when you're applying two or more stats procs, and if you bomb that, you will see like a dude catch on fire and then get frozen or something like that. That would be my example.
That's fine.
Like Frozen Fire?
I mean, it's kind of hard to get that one. I don't think you can have a weapon with cold and fire at the same time.
Yeah, what is it combining to? Cold and Fire?
Blast.
Blast.
But,
Yeah.
but you cannot have both.
But you can have 2 stats procs, right?
Yeah, you can have multiple stats in a weapon.
Yeah, there you go.
But not the basic ones. Like you can have magnetic and blast and cold or something like that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What does magnetic do? I think it just lowers the shield. That's it.
I think it disrupts the shield.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Mm.
But now the enemies have shield gating, so it's useful.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. But that's not a very flary kind of like interesting status to build towards.
No, but again, it's again the problem with Warframe that it has kind of 2 stages of gameplay. Like either shit is dying too fast or shit is not dying at all.
The 2 stages.
And there is no in between.
Yeah.
So,
but,
so
and what about IPS in that status kind of thing? How will that work?
For visual feedback, I don't know. I probably don't care the visual feedback of IPS as much. Okay. They do have effects, like slash halves the health, and I think puncture reduces armor, and impact. It can proc trips at some.
Yeah. They ragdolls them, is it? Yeah.
Yep. So that's fine. The problem with IPS is just that they haven't find an answer to slash. Because the slash effect is too powerful.
Yeah. Would you like to simply remove IPS from the game and just make it damage? Like by now, what happened if you transfer the majority of those components in IPS to the actual status elemental? To some of the elementals, just add it to some elementals, you just make IPS disappear, just make it damage, and that's it.
I wouldn't like it. It takes away from the flavor of the weapons.
It does, but you have kind of overlapping systems between IPS has drops and has status, and it works like with a status thing, and then you have all the elemental status that does X, Y, and Z.
I don't see a problem with that.
No, okay.
Do you see a problem with that?
Well, I feel like it's kind of an unnecessary overlap or procs things. That would be my main thing.
Why is it unnecessary?
Because it's just a convoluted way to present damage.
Yeah, sure.
That is it, right? It just
but I don't see a problem with that.
The thing is, why will you convolute raw damage to put them into some kind of a status that the raw damage can apply? What is the IC?
What do you mean by that?
Because IP the IPS is what gives you the raw damage of the weapon, quote unquote.
Not only that, elemental damage also gives you.
Also, yeah, I know that it also gives you part of the raw damage, right? But the IPS effects are not worth it much of the time besides slash, which is it could be translating to a bleed proc, technically speaking.
That's what it does. That's what a slash does.
In general in the system, those kind of things are separated, extra effects on things. Not are probably part of an effect inside the damage system, right? So the generally how the rest of the system works is it is defined by weapon category of weapon type. So if you got a hammer,
what?
Yes.
It depends. No, that's not true.
Yes, it is. Like, if you got a hammer, the hammer can cause knockdown by the nature of being a hammer, right? But that is disconnected of the actual damage that the hammer does.
I don't see a problem with that. Like, why can you have a hammer that applies a lot of slash?
Because it makes no sense.
Why not?
Like, primarily the hammer will is a blunt weapon. So how is it slashing it with like one pointy?
Why does it
Of
have to be
course,
a
you can
blunt
have like a
weapon?
hammer with nails, but that would be like a naily hammer, which of course it will apply more bleed than
Yeah, so
blunt
there you go.
damage.
Why, like, what you're describing is why would you constrict yourself that much?
I don't know. I have like a weird.
I don't think that is a good idea. I think that is putting constraints on the way that you're designing weapons for no good reason.
All right. I don't know. It's weird because that this trying to fix this problem with the status, it does affect that part of the weapon, like the APS kind of part of thing.
No, it does not.
Yeah, it does. The status change affects IPS status apply. It does not?
No. It is the amount of splitting the damage.
The amount of what?
So you see the IPS thing.
Yeah.
If a weapon has more slash than the other two,
yeah,
it's gonna more likely apply
a bleed proc.
A slash proc, and like how much more likely is think of the IPS as a percentage.
So it like status chance doesn't affect IPS status chance. There are two separate things.
Yes.
Okay.
IPS is a completely separate system from.
Fair enough. Yeah.
From the elemental damage.
Yeah. Now that makes sense. All right. I thought it was affecting it, and it was like that was the main problem for me.
No, it's just that both systems can apply
dots.
These dot effects.
Yes.
But they're separate, like they come from different places in the system.
Yes.
Which is confusing, yeah.
Yes, sure. Warframe. As usual, Warframe being obtuse.
Yeah, it is confusing because both apply these dot things, but they come from different places.
Yes, correct.
And they're computed in different forms.
Yes. All right. So then I will have no problem with like bumping the amount of dots needed to trigger the normal elemental effect.
Yeah, but that doesn't solve the IPS problem. Yeah, just for example, the ragdolling effect of impact.
Yeah.
Like people still don't like ragdolls because that makes the enemies fly away, and it is annoying.
But it is proper with the effect that impact should have.
But it's annoying. It doesn't matter that it's
proper.
Well,
no, it's not proper with the effect that impact should have. Yeah, is that impact? Yeah, it's impact. Yeah, it's proper with the effect that impact should have. And there is a bunch of things that
it doesn't matter. It's still annoying.
It is annoying, but what is the fix to that? What will you change impact to? Flatten people?
Impact.
Maybe you can fix it to a dizziness kind of effect, right?
A stun?
To a stun, yeah. Will you change it to a stun kind of effect?
I would change it, but the ragdoll, like people hate ragdolling.
Yeah, and then how will
like if you're trying to kill a tough enemy and you ragdoll it, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that is true. I will agree to that. So you'll put a stun effect, right? I think the biggest fears of the A is like having too much crowd control effects in the game.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, nobody, and that's the thing. Nobody in the community minds that because we already have a bunch of crowd control effects into the game.
Oh, we can crowd control, like just the Warframes.
Yes,
really, can crowd control the whole game. Doesn't matter really.
Yeah. So
like if you have a Frost, a Limbo, and an O in a team, pretty much everything is crowd control for.
Either banish or frozen or slow it. Yeah.
All at the same time. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like putting more crowd control on the weapons, it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, so for impact, I think the stun effect will be
Yeah,
nice.
the
Will be the nice
ragdoll
change.
one, it's just that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, and then from puncture, I don't know. From puncture, I would like to have an effect like the one Slash has. When you have like a slashing weapon, the actual model dismembers into more pieces, right?
Yeah,
I,
once is that.
yeah, I would like to have something like that with puncture, but actually make holes into the models. That would be my thing.
But it will be kind of a waste. Like, how often do you pay attention to the dead bodies?
No. Like you actually shoot it and then you open a hole into the model if it's still moving.
Again, how often do you pay attention really to the models of
I don't
that?
know. It would be a nice thing like to have, like to shoot a weapon and then you full holes a model that's coming towards you, and then it dies. That's
I've
it. That would be my thing.
it is a cool idea. I think it's
Yeah,
just a waste of energy to
probably.
put it in game.
Probably, but I would like to have like a proper like cartoony kind of like not more
Oh,
anime kind of like
no,
like
a lot of people will disagree with that. A
what
lot of people.
more of an anime like full of
Nope,
holes kind of
that's
models.
not gonna sit well with a lot of the community
Come on,
in Warframe.
yeah, they
Yep.
will complain. But
No,
why will you put in like in puncture then to like make it more clear?
I don't think the whole problem is that the armor reduction effect is hard to convey.
Yes.
You just have to trust it.
Close your eyes and you just say, "Take me, armor."
It's the same with heat. Like, yeah, you can see the enemy on fire,
Yeah,
but you don't know how much armor are you actually stripping.
that is true. That is true. But then, but what that's what I mean. You can see the enemy on fire, so you feel like you're doing something because of the visual feedback. But in puncture,
Yeah,
there's nothing like that.
but that visual feedback is not really conveying uh the effect
That doesn't
that
matter.
is happening.
The fact is that you're getting the visual feedback that gives you
I
an amount.
don't know if I agree with that, because I have always it has always bothered me that when you apply any kind of armor stripping thing to the
Yeah.
enemies, you cannot see how much armor have you stripped.
So would you like to see numbers?
I don't know if numbers or another bar on the enemies or something.
Like
But
like
no,
like enemies with dual bars, like armor bar and then the health down there, something like that.
yeah,
More nuance. The same with the shields, and it's because I don't know if that will
maybe
make it harder to read, or maybe I think it'll be, I don't know, man.
maybe it
Like
it's
how
hard
it
to
works
tell.
now is you see the bar and you know that that bar has armor because it's yellow,
Yes,
and then you strip it and then suddenly change to red, and it's like what?
but it doesn't like all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it only changes if you completely strip the armor.
Yeah, it would
But
be better.
any step in between, you don't know if you're doing
So it would
something.
be better if that bar, just like if you start stripping armor, then you see the red, the green, the yellow thing going down
Maybe
and show
something
you
it
the red.
just it is hard to convey, because again, Warframe is really hard to read
Yes.
when it's played. So, but that has always bothered me. Like you use corrosive on an enemy, and you have to trust that you're using the armor. And the only way that you can check it out is going to a simulacrum room
Yeah.
and comparing it to not using corrosive.
Correct. Yeah.
But that just means that you trust the system. There is
Yes.
no feedback for that kind of thing.
That is correct. So you
And
would like to
that is
see
annoying.
would you like to see numbers flying in Warframe? It would be the question. Or like more interactive into the bars. But the thing is like
Numbers already fly.
well, more numbers flying. But the things like I think that the thing is the bar. I think that the problem is the bar because you see it would be nice if that bar moves when you're stripping armor. even if it's silly, because as you say, sometimes in Warframe you see a lot of things dying very quickly, or like a lot of things taking forever to die, and it feels bad.
But what it takes forever, it matters. So, for example, imagine that you're fighting like a level 200 Nox enemy,
Yeah.
which has a freaking ton of armor.
Yes.
You would like to know how much have you stripped,
That is true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is completely true.
or why you just see like the yellow bar moving, but you don't know. You really don't know how effective the armor stripping that you're using is.
So then my question will be like, yes, you can show, like technically you could show that armor stripping, like putting the yellow bar just reducing himself while you're stripping the armor, like bar overall. The problem is like, what happens if you're bypassing and deal him like hell damage? Then you probably want to see the two bars separated.
Yeah, you probably would want that. I
Yeah.
don't disagree with that.
Yeah. So you probably want to change Warframe from a one bar system to a double bar system when you're showing, like, of course, in terms of the meat dudes, the infected, you won't need that. You always use just one bar because they're pure flesh.
Yeah, but that's I mean, they're not the problem. The problem are
The armor and the shield users, basically.
even for the shield. The shield has the like dual bar in one because you have red health and blue shields.
Yeah, you look, but
And you can see the difference. Like if you're bypassing the shield, you can see the shields intact and the health
going
decreasing.
down. So we already do have kind of a system to show that.
Yeah, the problem is, how do you make something that works for armor that doesn't get confused with shields? Especially because those two work in different ways. Like shields are a fixed number,
Yeah.
while armor scales from the health.
But you can use the same. You can use the same visual feedback.
You could use a
Right? You
similar
can just put a
feedback.
percentage of the bar as yellow,
And
then the other red.
I know.
Yeah.
I know that you could use a similar thing. The problem is that if the two visual feedbacks are too similar, the idea that you're conveying to a players is that the systems are the same.
Well, the color should be, but
but even if the color,
different.
like no, okay. Imagine that you're a new player.
Yes.
And you have these two systems, like shields is red plus blue and armor is red plus yellow.
Yeah.
And you shoot things and you don't understand that well, but they kind of look similar and they both decrease in similar ways. So the first thing that you would assume is, oh, they have to work somehow similar. But if you dig in the game, they don't.
So how will you express?
I don't know. I'm not saying that I have the answer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
So your question is like, it can be like if you put them like that, which is the easiest fix that I can imagine. It will get confused because people will think that work the same, even if
it conveys the wrong message.
Even if at some point they're clean saying like one has shields, and you see them on your Warframe that shields and armor are two different things. Maybe you be more clear on how they function properly to explain how they actually apply.
Yeah, but again, you have to assume that most players are not gonna read how it works, and a lot of them take decisions based on the visual feedback of the game.
Well, if you think about it, like when you are manipulating Warframes or modding Warframes, you kind of like have to know that they have armor and shields and they're two different things. And they work different.
Kind of, but sure. But that's not shown to you while you're playing, like while you're in combat. That's the problem, is that conveying information while you're in combat is different to showing information while you're out of combat, like preparing for it.
Well, you like icons over the units? Or like a more visual kind of way?
It could be useful. Yeah, I don't know. It depends how it is implemented. It could work.
Like if you implement it as icons, you just put like a flashing icon, and then when you strip that, you make it disappear. Like in case of shields or armor, like a shield, like a proper like a proper shield in case of armor, and then a kind of a barrier in case of shields to represent it.
It
Or you can like make it more visually when you play in an armor character, they look more buff or like bigger, and then when you play a shield character, you can visually kind of see like a shield effect over them.
it
Of course,
could
that
be.
will give like that fits into the possibility of having more visual noise, but
Yes.
even you can
It
like
is.
have it the other way, which is put it up an icon at the side of the bar, which represents that he has shields and the other has armor. You can do that
Yeah.
too.
Uh, if I had to do it, I would probably go with a triple bar approach. One bar for health, one bar for shields, and one bar for armor.
So triple bars, and that will make it like clearly that they have like different kind of health
Yeah, I don't
stuff.
know how clear would it be, but that's probably the thing that I would do.
So the triple bar approach. In case you have in case you have an enemy that solely gains shields, or an enemy that suddenly gains armor for an effect or something like that.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
think
what?
it will make sense in the way that the game presented in the Warframe as three different things, and then you see three enemies with triple bars. I probably will go with the icon approach. It's cleaner, I will say.
You know what would I do? I
What?
would have one bar for health and armor, like the shield looks now, and a different bar for the shield. And the reason why I have it like that is because shields are not related to health. Well, armor scales with health. So at least that connection is conveyed.
Hmm. How necessary is to say that the armor scales with health? Like how
It is
necessary is to
super.
make that connection?
Oh, that is the whole discussion of armor scaling.
But it's a discussion. It's not necessarily something that the player has to like care about. They just have like they at the
No,
end of the day
that
they will know that the yellow bar is harder to get down than the purple bar.
yeah, but why is it harder?
Because once
Just
it's
because
armor and
it's yellow?
shields, and the armor is more effective than shields, and the difference will be that shields recharge. And you can show that visually.
Yeah, but like I think it's important to show that armor and health are
I
related.
don't think so that it's important that the armor and hell are related. They just behave differently because of the bars, right? And you can make a unit that recharges shields, so you can visually convey that to the player, right? You strip their shield super quickly. They have the shield gating, so they have a remaining of shields very small, and then you have a unit which instantly recharges the shields, right? To show them that the shields, the advantage shields that they're rechargeables, right? And then you have the armor unit, and the armor unit you shoot them, and they keep the same amount of armor that goes down slowly, but they don't regain it. That's gonna be the way that you make the difference. Like you don't care that they're related. You care that once is harder to break and is bigger, and the other is easy to break, but it recharges, and that's the main difference
No,
between shields and armor.
you care that it is related. That's the whole point of Slash.
That's the
Like
whole
a
point of
Slash
what?
doesn't bypass shields
That's the whole point of what?
of Slash damage.
That it doesn't bypass shields.
No, Slash doesn't.
Yeah, but you again will see that when you are interacting with the different units. That you have a high slash unit, and then you go and fight yellow bars enemies with red, and then you see that the that the slash proc is applied and the red bar is going down, right?
Yeah,
And you don't
but
see
like
that with the purple dudes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There you go. So you still don't need to show that armor and health. You can say it, of course. You can say it to the player,
No,
they're related.
no, you need to show it because that's the whole point of why wouldn't you show it if you can't? Because that's a fundamental part of understanding the feedback of the game.
It's a fundamental. You don't need to see. I insist. You don't need to see that relation in terms of
Why not?
scaling. Like
Why not?
You don't need it. You the only thing that you need to know is like they behave differently when you are fighting them. Right? That's it. That's what you wanted to make. If the player wants to see, oh yeah, the armor is related to health, they will find out. They will go and see
I
why do they
disagree.
behave different?
No, but that's the thing that the game should show you.
But it's showing you that they are behaving differently. You don't need to show the correlation.
Why not?
You can say it, of course. You can say to the player that they are related, but it's not a need to show all the time that they're related.
Why not?
Because you don't need it.
Why?
Because why? Why will you need it?
Why? Exactly. Because that is one of the fundamental blocks of how the damage system works and how the scaling of armor works. And if you show it, you don't have to go outside of the game to make the connection between those two things and say, oh, then I need to mod for this. If you don't know that they are connected, or if it is not conveyed to you as right now, you're kind of lost. Like, why am I not doing damage to this thing?
Is it 1-on-1 like the health with the armor? Like a unit has as much.
No, it's not 1-on-1. Like there is a formula for the connection.
Okay.
But the whole point is that if you see both of them decreasing at the same time, you can make the connection. Like these two things are kind of connected. So if I damage one, I affect the other one, which is something that doesn't happen with shield. And it's like that's one of the fundamental building blocks of the damage system in Warframe.
But you can combine that visually.
Yes, with the bars decreasing at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but that's what's happening.
No, that's not what happens.
No, that's what hypothetical solution. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. So what? Like I don't understand why will we disagree? And if like I was imagining the same thing, like both bars will get affected by whatever effect armor has.
You didn't say that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I would put them one next to the other. And you said no.
I am confused. We were imagining the same system, like dual bars, right?
Yeah, I told you. I will put two bars. One that has the health and armor, and a separate one that has the shield.
And I tell you yes. And
you told me no.
Yes, I tell you yes
and
because
I told you. Why would I do it like that? To emphasize the connection between health and armor. And you told me no.
And I will tell you, you don't need to emphasize
that.
the connection between them, right?
Yes,
because they say the system will show you. That was the discussion that we were having. The 3-bar system will show you. You don't need to emphasize it in any way, shape, or form.
No, you do. You definitely have to. Like, the more information that you emphasize to a player, the sooner he's gonna get it.
But the visual thing is showing you. Like the way the bars behave will show you that. That was my point.
Yes and no. Like, it depends on how you do it.
You just do dynamic bars.
I know, but like the way that you show them is important. It's not just putting 3 bars anywhere. Like those little details matter.
How is the way that you want to be important and emphasized? Besides moving.
If you have 3 separate bars.
Yes.
and two of them are decreasing.
Yes.
It could be because you have different status in your weapon, and some of them are affecting different things, but that doesn't mean that they're connected. So if you put a damage type that, like if you have slash
Yes.
and a damage type that reduces shields at the same time,
Yes.
or now if you have, for example, toxin and magnetic. Toxin bypasses shields and it affects health.
Yes.
Magnetic will damage the shield, and both bars will decrease. Is there a connection between those two?
Again. Magnetic will decrease shields,
Magnetic
and
will damage
toxin will
shields.
decrease health.
Toxin bypasses shield,
Yes.
so it will damage health. So if you have a weapon with those two,
Magnetic, yeah, they will decrease at the same time.
You'll see both bars, the health and the shield bar, decreasing.
Yeah.
Are those two things connected? No, because shields are not connected to health in any manner.
Yes.
The shield number is just a shield number. It doesn't have anything to do with health.
Sure.
Okay, so now the feedback that you're giving the player is that both bars are decreasing.
Yeah.
Now let's say that you do slash damage to an armor unit. You see both the health and the armor decrease. Yep.
Yes.
Is health and armor connected? Yes. Why is the visual feedback the same? Should the visual feedback be the same?
If that one effect is affecting both bars, yes.
Yeah, but like you see, like contrast the two examples that I just gave you.
Yes, I understand that because we have multiple procs, it's gonna get weird.
No, but again, you see a problem of having three separate bars. That the way that it behaves visually is the same, and it convey like the idea that it shows is that the systems are the same, but they are not.
Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So imagine you have three bars.
Yeah.
You see two of them decreasing at the same time. Then in another one, you see two different ones decreasing at the same time. So what the idea that is telling the player is
maybe you will
those
have
two things are somehow connected.
Maybe you will have like different size bars in that case.
That's what I was saying. That's why my solution is putting armor and health on the same bar, because those two things are for sure connected. And shields on a different one. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think that will make the difference.
I don't know if it would.
Yeah, I don't think it will make the difference.
I think it could for a new player.
I think that three system bars with proper sizes. And what I mean by proper sizes, like if a unit has more health than armor, then one bar will be smaller and the other will be bigger.
But that is still doesn't convey, like that doesn't show the difference of armor being connected to health and shields not being connected to health.
I think
exactly what the same example that I just gave you like a minute ago.
I think the thing that you should focus is showing the player what is affecting what, right? Not if they are connected in ways, in terms of scaling, right? My priority will be showing the player what is affecting what is effective for what. That will be my priority.
How would you do that?
I will either do it with icons to what bar is being affected, like working in the three system bars.
Then anything that affects health will also have to be shown affecting shield, affecting armor.
There is nothing that only affects armor. Does toxin
Only
not
armor?
affect? Yeah, only armor.
Yeah, but then anything that
There you go.
affects health will also affect armor. There,
Is there, again, my question is there anything
there
that
is
only affects armor?
yes, but there is nothing that only affects health and nothing else.
There is nothing that only affects health and nothing else.
Because if it affects health, it affects armor.
That is fine. Like if you wanna, my point is like if there's something that only affects armor, it should get shown clearly that it only affects armor, or that certain things are more effective against armor.
Sure, that's fine.
There you go.
But that like there is a one like there is no one like the information that you're conveying is not that clear because it's not symmetric.
It's not symmetric in what do you mean that is
in
not
the
symmetric?
sense that you don't like you have things that only affect armor.
Yes.
But you don't have things that only affect health. So anything that affects health is going to affect armor.
That's okay.
Why is that okay?
Because like if there's things that affect them both, is there a difference in proportionality of how well it affects one or the other?
Yeah, of course.
There you go. Then you don't need to show that. If you do damage to health, you just do damage to health.
But in the system that you describe,
yeah,
but that's the point. Like if it does damage to health, it also increases the armor, and we want to show that.
That's okay. That's okay. If you're applying something to the armor, you show that you're applying something to the armor. You don't need to show anything about health. If there is nothing that only affects health, then you don't need to show anything that applies to health. And like, if there is an element that is more effective at killing health, it will get shown by how fast the health bar is going down compared to the armor.
Sure, but that's the thing that I'm describing by putting the bars together and avoiding the icons.
Why would you want to put the bars together, like one on top of the other? What is the visual representation?
No, one next to the other.
What? How are we imagining this system? I imagine like 3 bars, one on the other. Like for example, armor, health, shields.
Okay.
That's it. That's the system I imagine with different sizes.
I imagine two. Like what I'm picturing is put armor and health at the same level on the same bar, armor and health on the same bar, and then shields to a separate bar.
Why
just 2 bars instead of 3?
Why will you want to like? What is the problem between 3 bars or 2 bars stuck together and one down?
The problem that I just described you between. If you look at the 3 bars and you have something that affects health and shields, if you have a weapon that affects health and shields, you will see those 2 decreasing. But they're not connected.
Yeah. But you will see one decreasing faster than the other.
Faster, not that depends on the numbers. It's hard to say. That completely depends on the numbers, on how much shield do you have, on how much actually damage to the shield you're doing compared to damage to health. It depends on the weapon.
That is fine. Because that way you will figure out how the actual system works.
No, but that's my point. That if you have something that is affecting health and shields at the same time, it will get confused with how. Like it could get confused to how health and armor are related.
You
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't think so. They will get that confusing.
Why not?
I don't think it will get that confusing because of the way the feedback, the way that the bars will work.
Like you cannot depend on the speed of that the bars decreases. 1, because the game is super fast.
Of course, yeah, clearly.
And 2, because it depends on how every weapon is gonna work. Like some of them are gonna decrease shields or health faster. So
that is fine.
Yeah, but that is fine, but that
Yeah.
doesn't convey the connection between health, shields, and armor.
Like, I don't understand why it's important for you to like convey that connection. Like, you only need to show
Because
what is affecting
I
what.
just told you because health, shields, and armor are the fundamental things that you have to understand the damage
Yeah,
type.
but they're different things.
But they're not. But that's the point. Armor
But
and
they're
health
not
are
disconnected.
not
Clearly, they're not
different.
disconnected, right? But they're
Yeah.
different things that you have to show.
Yes, but armor and health are connected, and that connection is important when you're modding things.
Okay.
Is it not? Like when you're making a build, is that not important?
No.
What?
I've never thought about it. Like, I've never like, oh yeah,
No,
this is like
that's
this is like
different.
effective for this. All right, I'm gonna kill it. All right, it's dead.
That
Cool.
you have never thought about it. That doesn't mean that doesn't play a role for the people that actually make builds.
Yes, of course. Like they do the builds for like stripping armor or whatever, like this or that effect.
So it is important.
But you don't need, like, it's not that important. You need to show it. I think that's my point.
Oh no! My point is that it is. That makes you a more effective player.
It does, but it's not like I don't know. I think we're
That's
going in
the whole
circles.
point. No, but that's the whole point. Like I want to show the players all the information as it is and as it works, because I want to make them better, like at modding and stuff. I know that you don't care because for the most part you just copy build.
Yeah. Which is what,
Sure,
like,
but then what you're saying is it doesn't matter. Let just people copy builds. And what I'm saying is no, it does matter because I want to teach the players how to do it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, if I don't know, it could be fine to put both bars together. So I don't see the need to. They like, I don't see what it be like the impact of between putting like the three bars, like the health and shield separated, that put them like together.
You don't see the need because you didn't think about those things when you're making build.
Yeah, but it will give me a good.
That's why you don't see the usefulness.
When you are fighting a high level enemy, you will see the difference of what is working in what.
I mean, right now, yes, because we know how the system works. But that was not the case when we began playing.
Okay.
Like, the only way that we know how it works is because we read about how it works.
Yes.
Okay, that's not a good thing from the game perspective.
All right. Say we put those two bars like one by the other, but we will technically still be showing three bars, which is what we need. All right, that's it. No conversation. Put them together. I don't care. Stack them in a row. Put it in a circle. I don't give a fuck.
No, you cannot say that. Like that's
well, yeah,
that's
I know.
The whole
I know
point
that your
of
point is like
UI.
I know that in your point that is like they should be together because they have a connection.
But again, like you cannot say just put them whatever. Like that's the whole point of having a good UI.
I just want 3 bars. How do you build the AI? Is okay. Your connection. It makes sense.
What?
No, your connection makes sense. Your connection, like the thing that you're saying, yes, I agree on. The thing is, like, I didn't think about it because I didn't care, so I just wanted 3 bars.
Okay, but that
right?
Again, I know that.
Yeah,
but that just speaks by the way that you play the game,
That's
not
correct,
the way
yes.
that the game should be presented to the players.
Yes, you're right. You should have. If it's important to show the connection between armor and health, yes, it is a good idea to put them in the same bar.
That's what I was saying.
Even if visually their 2 bars stick together.
Yes. And like, will most people care?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But for the people who pay attention, is going to be important.
Yeah, because they will figure out that there is a reason why those 2 bars are together and not separate.
Yeah. And for a newer player, it will help a lot.
Yes.
Or it could potentially help a lot. not having to go out to a confusing Wikipedia to find all the formulas of how things are connected.
All right.
Because the formula itself doesn't matter.
Will you then my next question will be, will you put numbers on the bars?
No, I would not.
All right.
Because you already have numbers flying out of the enemies.
Will you change the sizes of the bars one inside the other? For example, if you have a lot more health and a little bit of armor?
That's fine.
All right,
Yeah.
there you go. Then we're all happy.
Yeah, that's perfectly
we reached the point that there is agree.
Yeah, no, but the point is, like, you cannot, just because you don't care as a player, you cannot throw away the information.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Yes.
And you cannot dismiss all the hard work that the UI designers make to try to show as much meaningful information as they want. It's not just throw 3 hours in the mix and do whatever.
Yeah. You're right. I was wrong in that sense. I was like, my idea was like pushing about the careless that I didn't see the need, because I did never see the need of like showing that connection in particular. But yes, it is important. You're right.
It is. Maybe not for everyone, but
yes. You're right. All right, to our next topic.
Just to conclude, the whole point is just UI design is important.
Yes, that I was going to say exactly that. Kids, this is the reason why now in video games, UI design is an entire career and a specialization inside the games. The games world, and why you just like actually contract dudes that only do UI design, and that's why it's important. So for the next point, AoE target capping in Shadowlands. So this has been like a crazy thing about so how this works, because I me as a warrior, I just cleave and do cleave damage.
Yep.
And apparently I'm not being that affected, but apparently it's gonna be a cap of how many cleaves do I get to proc?
Not like, so if right now you have 10 enemies around you, like all in range.
Yeah.
Like you will damage all of them.
Yes, you just press the windmill and you just damage all of them, and then you cleave them, all of them, if they got apply the cleave.
Yeah, the change is that they're gonna cap it. So even if you have 10 enemies around you and you do AoE damage in range, you're only gonna damage 5 of them.
And then you're gonna get killed because you're not doing the rest of them damage.
I don't know if that's the case.
What is it like? My question, I think the question of this is, why are they doing this change exactly?
I don't know. I don't know if they feel like AoE is too powerful.
Why? Like why are they, like that? That would be my general question. Why are they doing this kind of challenge? If you have like a bunch of like, you have in World of Warcraft a bunch of instances where you have very smaller horde units, and then you have like 3-4 units which are harder to kill. So it's like
it could be to make like dungeon pools more strategic. Like you cannot go out and pull
everything. That's
20 enemies, 30 enemies in one pool and cleave them all at once. I think, like, I'll guess that's the reason why they don't want to do that. They want to make the pools more. They want players to think more carefully about the pools.
You think that's the intention, like not to pull like crazy people?
I would guess, like to discourage people from having like or making crazy pools. Like, let's just take all the mobs.
Well, but think about it. When we will play World of Warcraft, when have we pulled more than 10 enemies in one pool?
Not in dungeons. I mean, if you are doing a Mythic 0 right now, you could do it. You could just go one pool, a huge room, and nuke them to that.
Okay.
No?
Let me think about it. Like, I think the
a
only
Mythic 0.
I think Mythic 0, the only place with that when you can pull a lot of enemies at the same time will be like either Mechagon, either Mechagon dungeon or the Shrine of Storms dungeon, where there's a bunch of smaller enemies going around.
I don't think this matters for open world play. I think this is important only for dungeons.
The AoE thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is true in terms of the
I
pool.
mean, other play where people are doing it right now is for island expeditions.
No, okay. They
Like
just go around and
the
pull a
the
bunch of
the,
stuff.
mo- the optimal strategy for island expeditions is to go to an island and just have one guy pull as much shit as they can, like literally as much as they can, and then
Okay.
nuke everything together with a lot of AoE.
But what I've seen of like the in quote unquote in game thing about like Shadowlands when this change comes in is is the is the Torgas, the Tower of the Dam. Like all this thing that I've seen people running through that in the alpha. I haven't seen the first like a lot of mobs together, like tops like 6 7 mobs together in
Again,
like
I don't
kind of full
think
in
this
range.
change is for that. This change is probably for dungeons.
So people don't pull everything at the same
Yeah.
time. But it's gonna be like problematic when you have no option but to pull things. Like for example, in the Temple of Cities, when you have to like move the eyes from one to the other, there's like bajillion mobs following you around, and you don't have much option doing that because you have to go for the eye and bring it
What are you
back.
talking about?
The Temple of the Serpent, when you are doing the thing that you have to go grab the eyes and put into the
But
big serpent
oh,
head.
with the small guys,
Yeah.
you can always see them. That's fine.
Does CC applies to this?
No, this is AoE damage.
Just damage.
Yeah, this is target capping AoE abilities.
Does CC are not AoE abilities?
CC is, but all the description that is here is for damage abilities, not
Just
for
for
CC.
damage abilities. Yeah, because okay, if you can have CC abilities controlling the mobs if you are in those situations. Well, that's interesting because
I'm looking at the abilities, and none of them are
RCC.
CC. Like
All
all
right,
of them are just damaging abilities.
but that would be sad for the mages when they have like those like starfalls and in like
I mean, it affects everyone because all the DPS classes
has some kind of like
have
AoE.
summon or one or other
But
very
like for example,
heavy AoE
I would
damage.
think as a warrior, it will make sense that if you do a werewolf, well, you just hit people which are in your range. But if you are a mage and you're making rain in a big area, because the rain kind of spells of mage have a big area, and then you're just hitting 5 dudes inside that huge damage, even if you see the effect. That feels super bad.
Yeah, that is probably one of the biggest complaints. Like, I'm just saying that can see why they're doing it. I don't know if I agree with them doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they want to make um, dungeon polls more methodic, and especially in the like while you're learning the dungeon. So when you're doing normal, heroic, and low keys.
I don't know.
I think that's the idea. I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it feels like for me as a warrior, I will probably won't notice it because of the way I do damage. And like I just wear mill and see the numbers going down. So if I see less numbers, it's not gonna affect me that much. But for the clearly visual like effects of mage showers, of those big AoE effects, if you are that have like a huge area.
I think it probably won't affect. I don't think it's gonna affect that much any of the classes
Well,
really.
the question is like strike all 5 nearby enemies for blade ends, for example.
Yeah,
5 is too little, man.
maybe not. I don't know how many enemies do you usually have in range.
You usually have between 6 and 7.
Then two less is not that different. Like I don't think this affects melee as much as it affects range DPS.
Yeah, is they talking about any of the mage ones? Try to look. No, this is Fellstorm. I don't see any of the big mages here.
Mm, yeah, I didn't see any of the mage
The mage, yeah, the big
talent
mages.
abilities.
Like if they changes the one that makes sense, I'm okay with it with the melee ones. But the
If
mages
they're gonna
ones, it will feel like really bad.
no, if they're gonna change AOE, they have to change all of them. They cannot pick and choose.
That's the
People will
worst.
complain more about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like the game needs this change. Like at the end of the day, it's like I don't feel like in the current state this is a necessity.
Mm, I don't think is a necessity, but
Yeah.
I can see some of the usefulness of it. So when you're learning the game, when you're learning dungeons, it will better train you not to do big pulls in the dungeons, which is something that doesn't happen if you're running like plus 10s, plus
Yeah.
12s. But when you're doing with randoms like plus 0, plus 2 keys,
Yeah.
I'll just see tanks just pulling everything.
Yeah. But I don't think
And
that's the correct way to teach it.
maybe not, but I can see
Yeah.
why. How
Yeah.
would you teach that? Then, for example,
Probably
like that very specific example of not
pulling that
letting your
many enemies at the
DPS
same time.
players or tanks do big balls in low keys.
Probably doing some kind of mob buff.
So the affixes that the dungeon
Yeah,
has.
putting kind of an invisible affix in that case. That you got certain
Mm,
amount of aggro, and you can see that on game. Like if you have, I don't know, 10 more aggro, then the enemies will get buff. You can
uh,
even make it not invisible and show it, like a mob proc or something like that, like a mob effect or something like that. But that will be the way that I teach it. More than more than fucked up with players' abilities.
maybe, but at some point, like think of it this way: like still, like if you take like a well geared tank
Yeah.
and you throw them in a low key dungeon,
Yeah.
like no matter how much buffs or debuffs you put on like mythic 0 level enemies,
Yeah.
he can probably tank all of them.
That is fine. If
No
like if you
problem.
are to the point that you can gear that you are
Yeah, but
enoughly
okay.
geared. Yeah.
Put again that like put that player in that setting, and he just randomly connects to a low level key dungeon or something or whatever, or is helping a friend,
Yeah.
whatever. And you see a guy doing insanely pulls. You'll
Yeah.
think like a newish player would think, oh yeah, that's the thing to do.
Yeah. And then we'll go do it and they die instantly. If
Mm,
they're not geared enough. Like the thing I'm trying to face is like I
but
want to
that's
teach the lesson
no,
without
but that's
removing play
not what you
power.
would get. You would get DPS players complaining about tanks being too careful because people don't change specs that often, at least when they're learning the game.
Yeah. I don't see like what is the point? Like the one people that you're trying to teach is the tank, which is the one that pulls stuff.
No, I
If
mean you wanna teach everyone. Like,
why?
what do you mean? Why?
You want to teach the person who's doing the job how to do his job properly.
No, but like you're also setting expectations for the roles.
What do you mean?
Like if you're a DPS player You also like while you're running low keys, you're setting up an expectation of what a good tank or a good healer is.
Well, if you see, well, the thing is like if you go into a low key as a DPS and you get a tank which is super level up, he's clearly that he can pull a bunch of stuff because of the level that he has, right? But if you get a normal tank at your level, he cannot pull that stuff because he's not at a high level of what the activity is doing. That will be the result.
How much people do really take a look at those difference? Just than like more than just saying, "Oh, this guy was really good because he could pull a lot and it was faster."
Well, generally that will give you the eye level, which is shown when you are doing pre-made groups.
Yeah, no, but that's no. Yeah, but like, how much attention do you really pay to it?
Well, at the end, what will you realize is like, this low eye level tank cannot pull that much, and this higher level tank can pull a lot.
But no, but that's what I'm asking you. Do you really think people go through that process of making of having those stats?
The connection will be
thinking-
clear. See the problem. The connection will be clear.
It's not.
You will
No, but that's the
experience
point.
it.
My point is that it is not that clear. Like if you're not consciously thinking about what just happened, like if you don't reflect about the run, like people will just only think, oh, he was a good tank because he could put a lot and made the
Well,
run faster.
the buff, if you make the buff clear, the mob buff clear, it will be more clear than pulling that many things is not that good. Because they get stronger, and the enemies getting stronger is not good.
Sure, but it's like still still like you just see a tank like pulling everything and you see a wolf and you say, oh, that's a really good tank, he can survive.
Yeah, he's gear up,
he's a
or
really good
whatever.
tank, or we have a good healer, he could keep him alive.
That's
Just
fine.
as from the DPS perspective, and you're just like kind of casually playing, like you're not really thinking that hard or what does it entail to tank or heal or DPS, which I feel that's most people.
Yeah.
I still feel like you could be giving the wrong idea.
Yeah, like
I'm not saying that the AoE capping is the right solution.
yes.
I'm just saying that what you're describing doesn't seem to solve the problem either.
Well, it's like it's hard to teach people lessons without putting in their face a ginormous dick, right? But
is,
I don't like them
you could
trying to do
but
that.
you could make the argument that the AoE capping is a big dick in the face.
Yes, but like I feel like it could be not with fucking around with player power. Like when you fuck around with player power, it's always bad.
It is bad, but is at the end of the day is the only meaningful change
Yeah,
that
it
you
could
can
be
make to
effective.
players.
I'm not saying that it is not effective, but it's always bad. That's it.
Is it really bad if you're attaining a greater goal of making public runs easier in general?
Well, it could be good. It could be good to teach, but it doesn't mean that it's good to do.
Why not? But like, what would you prefer? Just power fantasy or a well-trained base of players, which will make the game more enjoyable?
I will prefer to maintain the player fantasy.
No, I will prefer I'll every day prefer to have like a better trained base of players that will make like public runs smoother. For example, I will enjoy that way more than just a straight up power fantasy.
All right.
Because you know how frustrating it is to have a bad tank or a bad healer.
Yeah, that is true.
That is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like that diminishes my enjoyment of the game more than having I can only multi-shot 5 enemies in the face.
I don't know.
Like I get more annoyed at a bad healer than at me not being able to hit 10 people in the face.
All right, we
At the end of the day.
we do have to move on. So yeah, I don't feel like it's good, but it could be good for the end purpose. I think that's the thing.
I think it's not gonna be that bad.
All right.
I honestly think people are complaining too much about this. I think it's gonna be fine, and most people are not even gonna notice the change.
Yeah. Now because we're running out of power, running out of time, we're gonna do a quick aside of this last theme, which is it banning players for exploit a good punish method because of the Division 2 happenstance that they ban a lot of random people because of using a DPS exploit.
Yes.
Yes? Lucho said yes.
Not only a DPS exploit, it was also a loot exploit.
Well, technically one thing was related to the other.
Yes, but there were still two different types of exploits.
All right. So yes, ban people. Like the problem of this was there was people that just group up with people who doing this exploit, and because they group up randomly, they got banned.
Yes, I know that, and
that's the problem.
It sucks. And
the problem, like I'm not mad about it. Like I'm not bad about people being banned about exploiting. I think they deserve a ban. I think I will probably not ban those people. I'll probably roll them back. I prefer that as a punishment that ban straight accounts, like ban players.
Without banning them.
Yeah, I just roll them back, because if it was exploit that you as a developer let exist in the game and didn't fix it, is your problem.
Is it?
Yes, because you did bad book testing, or you didn't attend the problem quick enough when it became a bigger problem.
You know that it is impossible to catch all the exploits.
I know. But like, if that exploit exists, then it's not the fault of the player of finding it and using it. Because players are gonna find every little advantage that they can in any game, and that includes exploits.
Yeah.
Unless you're fundamentally hacking the game, like actually modifying code or something like that, that's different.
But you're using the systems in the way that is not intended.
Yeah.
That's an exploit.
So, if it's permitted, if you can do it, and it's
no, that's the point. Like under the user agreement thing, it is not permitted.
To what? To use the exploit as it was, like the DPS exploit as it was.
Yep. That is using the systems in a non-intended way. Those things are core in the user agreement thing.
But you're not hacking the game. That's my point. Like, you're not hacking the game.
Yeah, but those are different things. Still, like the only things that are core under the user agreement are not only hacking the game or changing the game files. Those are for sure core. But there are more nuanced things like finding exploits or that kind of thing. Those are also core under the agreement.
I feel like that's too much. I would prefer to roll back those players and that's it.
No, I think banning them is fine.
All right.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, yeah, you found an exploit and you exploited it.
So imagine that you're playing World of Warcraft and you go into a pre-made, and one of the players are using the exploit and you don't know, and then.
But you are saying different things. Were there problems with the way that they did the one? Yes.
All right.
Were they okay banning the people who used exploit? Yes. And those are different things.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So if you ask me, just to be clear, if you ask me, should you want the people who use exploit? Yes. Different from that, were there problems with the way that they implemented the whole thing? Yeah.
Yeah, because like you will get like.
But those are different things. If
I think the problem was that
it's about banning players for using exploits, go ahead, go ham. But be careful.
Yeah. I think the bad thing about this is like they just like swing a giant hammer and like killed half of the community without realizing, because people were randomly grouping with people who was using the exploit, and those like tainted rewards got passed to unsuspected players.
Sure, I know, but that is not a question of if I agree or no with the ban. That is just a question of did they fucked up the execution?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think my point will be like, if you're gonna if you are not 100% sure that you're not gonna affect innocent players, then do a rollback.
You're never gonna be 100% sure that you're not gonna affect innocent players, because those things are probably written in a script or something, and mistakes are always gonna be made.
I don't know. It's just bad to like ban random dudes who haven't done anything.
It is bad to ban random dudes.
Yeah.
The real question is how many real, like, just random people got banned without being at fault.
That's, I don't know. That's
hard to tell, because you only hear like people crying in the forums and in YouTube and just complaining, but you have to take with a grain of salt people complaints on the internet.
Yeah.
You cannot go around trusting people.
Absolutely, yeah, that is true.
And even if you did bad, like if you did exploit and shit, you can go to a forum and complain, "Oh, I was unfairly banned."
You don't know, yeah. I don't know. It's hard.
I don't have to trust anyone on the internet.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like it's a feel bad moment for wrongfully or not wrongfully accused. For the people who abuse the exploit, is not feel bad. It's just they found an exploit, they use it, they know that they were exploiting the game. Yeah.
If you knowingly were using the exploit, you have to be aware that this could have consequences.
Yes. That is true.
So those cannot say sad. No, you knew.
Yeah.
If you're like a poor random kid who just got some tainted loot and get banned by accident, yeah, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And shame on me for banning them.
Yeah.
But the ones who are knowingly using the exploit, nah, just
what about
take the punishment like a man.
What about a 2 stages thing, when you just roll back at the beginning, then you start banning after investigation?
That probably would have been the best thing. Like I'm not defending the way that you use or did the
massive, yeah,
or massive, whoever did it.
Yeah.
I'm not defending the way that they executed the banning thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I'm not really sad for the people that they ban. Like,
fair enough. All right, and that's it for a deep dive.
Also, people are dicks.
Yes, absolutely. We move to our audience questions and feedback. Don't forget, you can write it down at our email, through our Twitter accounts, through our personal Twitter accounts. You can write the email to the email of the show. You can pass by my stream and ask me stuff about the podcast and the themes of the podcast, and probably answer here. Whatever you want to communicate with us, we are open, and we will answer your burning questions. So the first questions of today will be: what will be your solution for toxic environments or communities in games online?
The ban hammer.
The ban hammer. A very tight ban hammer thing. Like, what will be a solution?
There is no solution for that.
Just
people
minimizing like the impact of toxicity in a community. I think
people are assholes.
People are assholes in general, but I think having like very good and clear rules is a very good way to start.
It is.
Right? And having good community managers is the second place to start.
Yeah, that's a kind of worms that I don't want to open right now.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of drama around like community managers and management of communities, and like who is who and who gives power, and especially when you start like a lot of community manager programs tends to like take players and make them community managers, which is oof.
That's always a mistake.
Yeah, but in this day and age, we actually have careers about community management, so probably
that's
prefer to get professionals. Yeah. But you even inside your community manager, you have to have like very strict rules for that community manager community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that is just a question about putting in place the right uh, checks
Yeah,
for the people
exactly.
who are doing
It's fine that you are integrating community leaders inside your player base to be community managers, but you have to be very careful with those people in the
Yes.
community, like the team of community managers that you're building, to be very clear about the rules and what can and cannot do, and be super strict. As soon as they broke even half of a rule, they're out.
Yeah, it has to be a well enforced set of rules,
Yeah,
and you have to run it kind of like a dictatorship. Like
correct.
you break one rule, you're out.
Yes.
Otherwise, it just gets out of control.
Yeah, it gets out of control. There's drama and there's like power struggle, and like we have seen it in a lot of communities.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
people get into
Yeah.
power gets into people's heads.
Yes, correct.
Problematic all the time.
And the second question is, what do you guys think of the Shadowlands spoilers and changes and alpha and all the things?
I don't check those out.
You've been zero spoiling in the Shadowlands things.
Yeah.
You've been away, besides the AoE changes, of course, and the class changes. Did you check the class changes?
I check the class changes, but those are not really spoilers.
All right. So,
Like,
what do
those
you
are
think of what you have seen of Shadowlands so far that is not spoiling things?
I mean, the only things that I have paid attention to are like mechanical changes,
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
AoE damage, like class changes.
Yes.
That looks interesting right now. I don't think any of the class changes are gonna have like a really strong effect on how the classes play.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
I mean, it just people think some of the classes changes are gonna bring back like the classic WoW kind of playstyle.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna happen. Like more WoW is a thing, and they may bring some things back to
Yeah, they're
make
giving you
it more flavorful, but
things
the
in your
fundamental
spell.
way, the fundamental way the classes are played is not gonna change. Like we still highly depend on global cooldowns, and
Yeah.
that's not gonna change. So it could make some of the classes more interesting to play, but they're gonna fundamentally be the same.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And for me, I've everything has been cool. I've been watching like Asmongold streams about the Tower of the Dam and that sort of stuff. I know. And
There was an interview with one of the developers, like a streamer interview one of the developers
yeah,
about the tower thing,
yeah, the Tower of the Dam. Yeah,
and the guy had really nice, like the developer guy was trying to bring down the hype about the
yes,
thing,
of
and
the
I think that
Tower.
is good. Like people are overhyping that. They have to be careful. That's not how more WoW plays.
Yeah. Did you saw the Taliesin and Evital
Yeah,
video
I saw
on
it.
it?
Yeah.
I think I do agree with like they should be let players go into the tower as much as they want. But of course, they will have probably to tune on the rewards. Well, or do you like the vision system when you can have like certain amount of going into the visions and applying
I
to the
like
tower?
it. I like it now because right now you can go a decent amount of times per week.
Yeah, like 2-3 times into the visions, right?
Yeah, which I think is more than enough for most people. Like the only thing that I want to say seriously is if they're gonna allow people to go to the tower without restriction at all,
Yeah.
they cannot put rewards in the tower.
Yep, that was it. That's the thing. Yeah.
And if that happens with no rewards, I'm really interested in seeing the
Who many
stats for
people
how
will
many
do?
people actually play it.
Yeah, they probably. You know what is
Because
gonna happen is you probably have like a collection of dudes doing endurance run, and that's it.
yeah, but that's gonna be a small portion of the community.
Yes,
Like
yes, super
if,
small.
if we talk fair and square, like
Yeah.
most people engage with activities based on the reward. If
Yes.
there are no rewards, Yeah.
Maybe you can just have like achievements on it for endurance runs, and that's it.
Sure, achievements is fine.
Yeah, there you go.
But the achievements and those kind of things are fine. But
Yeah.
like
Actual,
the major bulk of the
Yeah.
WoW community wants is gear or materials of that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
if an activity is not good for obtaining those, they're not gonna play.
Maybe you know what me as a player that I wouldn't do any like um endurance runs will be useful for the tower to be accessible at all times. It will be trial runs. Like see if my
Sure.
character is good enough to do to what level, see kind of like what choices are better. That will be the useful of having the tower open. Like even with no
Okay.
rewards. That will be the reason why I will go there. Like to do a trial run before I actually run a proper run.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That will be useful for theory crafters. Most people don't do that. Most people go to a guide, look what is optimal, and they kind of take decisions based on that. Most people are not gonna go themselves and test all the theory crafting themselves.
I will just do it like my example would be like, oh, I have access to the Torgas tower with rewards, like the special key, whatever you want to call it, right? So I want to go see and how far can I get. So I go and do a trial run and see kind of how far I can I get, and then I do the proper run. That'll be at least for me the useful part of having access to the tower all the time.
That could be. I can see a problem depending how long each run is.
Well, they say in the big, like now in the alpha it has no timer, but they're saying that the floors will have timers when the thing goes live.
They're not gonna
soft
have
timers.
hard timers. They're gonna
Yeah.
have soft timers.
Yes, exactly.
But again, it depends. Like if the soft timer is an hour, are you
No, they're
really
gonna
willing
have
to commit?
soft timer per floors, not the whole thing.
I know, but
Yeah.
like those soft towers, those soft timers per floor are gonna set expected time for the whole run.
Yes, correct.
An hour. So if the expected time for each run is an hour, the question is, are you really willing to spend an hour trying it out? Because an hour is not it's a significant time commitment.
Yeah, well, you probably
So if you're gonna do trial plus real run, are you willing to commit 2-3 hours of your time?
No, you probably what you do is like run 2 or 5 floors to see if everything that you did to prepare is working, and then you will go and do the trial as far as you can get.
Is that enough? Because the floors get harder and harder, and you don't want to test at the beginning. The ideal thing will be to test at the end of the
I think you will range it like kind of midpoint, like kind of like 5-6 floors on.
Still, let's say you go the first half of the tower. That's still half an hour, let's say.
Yeah.
That's still not an insignificant amount of time for just try it out.
Yeah, like I mean, like it would be nice if the option exists.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I'm just saying that most people probably not gonna do it, and just having a niche people like a small group of people doing it. Yeah, all I'm saying is don't expect it to be unlimited. It's gonna have restrictions.
No, I'm not expecting it. Like it'll be nice, but I'm not expecting it.
No, but people are, and I think people have to.
Yeah, people are super high because they're right now in the alpha. They're running it like infinitely. Blah, blah, blah.
Also, people don't know what they want. Like people say, "Oh yeah, I could run this all the time,"
and they do it for a week and then they never come back.
You probably do it for 2-3 days, and after that, you're kind of this is good enough.
Yeah.
So no. It's
yeah, fair enough. But I don't know. It would be nice to have the option for those people who wants to do endurance runs. It could be nice, and for those people who wants to be trial runs.
Let me put it this way: it would be nice to have it there without no rewards, and then I'll wonder how many people are actually playing this with no rewards.
Yes.
Because I don't know.
If there is no effort involved in having it in there with no rewards, okay, put it in there with no rewards, and that'll be it. Right? You just remove the chest and the drops of the mobs, and that's it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's it. It exists. You can go with it. You can explore it. You can see the sights as far as you can go, right? If you want to, and that's it.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying they cannot do it. I'm saying, will people really play it? I don't think so.
Maybe not.
Just having them there, I don't think people will go if there are no rewards.
Yeah. All right, and that's it for today's episode.
Yeah, that's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning into the Sweaty Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at LuisGPolanco.
And I'm the Lone Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at the Lone Name Gamer, and on Twitch on twitch.tv/LoneNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Tell everybody that you're trapped in your house that this podcast exists. To the Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. See you next time. Bye. And did you know, in Norway, cloveberries are often mixed with whipped cream and sugar to be served as a dessert called molketrekken, or cloveberry cream, as a jam or as an ingredient in homemade ice cream, and that sounds freaking delicious. I want it now, Lucho. Bring it to me.
Cloudberries are made up of small bowly droplets numbering from 5 to 25, and they're not unlike a raspberry in appearance and size, with diameter of 1 to 2 centimeters.
Yeah, they're like smaller, but they look delicious. I've seen like a bunch of pictures of them. They look so good. I want it. Have you any jam of cloveberry jam or like this dessert? Nope. That looks fantastic? Have you seen a cloveberry?
I don't think so.
Are they exotic fruits? They're hard to grow.
Maybe.
Like for what I saw, they clearly hard to grow. They're super delicate fruits. Yeah. So that's it. We want cloveberries. We want cloveberries with ice cream and sugar and all that deliciousness.